Part of our problem is that we didn't get much input from our fathers. Fatherhood was mysterious. What's a father? What do fathers do besides criticize and wait till your father comes home? That's it. That's what a father is good for. So we really don't know, and there's no book written on it, what is a father. That a mother is mechanech her children, that we see all the time. It's so obvious, it's so clear, it's so necessary. What does a father do? We don't know because we didn't really have that experience. So we have to discover it on our own, which is difficult. But even if we repeat our father's mistakes or neglect, whatever, our children should turn out to be like us. If you make the same mistakes with your children that your parents made with you, then your children should come out pretty much like you, which is not terrible. That would be success, by the way. If your children are no less than you, you've succeeded pretty good. So, there's a difference between lifestyle and sanity, I think. If your father was close, if you had respect for your father, you had a good relationship, and your mother, your core is going to be healthy. Whatever you'll do it healthy. But you may do things that your parents would never approve of, like become frum. But you will do it with a healthy approach, with a responsible approach, because you were raised healthy and responsible. So I think in the example of the Latin families, of course, the culture is changing. They can't keep the kids eating pasta all the time. Well, that's the Italians. So the culture is going to change. The food is going to change. They'll dress weird, but they'll be basically healthy kids. Rebelling, but that could be a good thing.
You know, I think you're on to something unbelievable about this. But what I'm getting, the questions I'm getting over here, my child doesn't want to, he doesn't want to join me at the Shabbos table, let alone not want to sit in my seat. He's struggling to be part of my community, so to speak. So the derech that we are trying to teach our children is a difficult process for us. So we're asking now these Jüngerleit, these parents, to start a almost new process of respect, of honoring a way that your father is saying something that goes back generations maybe. I think they're all struggling with something even more practical about getting their kids to be inspired about what Yiddishkeit is. This is what they're struggling with. So, yes, if they had that basis, and I actually have families in mind that I know that have done that and have been successful, how do you get it? And that's very practical advice that we need.
So as we go through the questions, we have to identify, is this a chinuch question or is this remedial therapy, which is more your department? Are we trying to fix some damage, or are we trying to give a path of chinuch, a derech hachayim, that is healthy to begin with and is simply the right way? So we shouldn't confuse the two. Therapy is not chinuch. You give the therapy to the kid and then throw him back to his father to live a life. So let's go to the questions and see. We identify, is this a therapy question? Is this a chinuch question?
So, go ahead. So to me, this is chinuch, which means you put out an unbelievable idea that basically, in order for you to have your children follow you and have the kind of dignity about who you are and what Judaism represents, they need to have a voice. They need to be able to speak it in a way that the child hears it, the wife hears it, everyone hears it.
So that's why you start by demanding derech eretz for your wife. That is so crucial. I mean, you know, one critical word from the father to the mother in front of the children, it's over. By the same token, and even more so in the positive, one positive word where the father says, can't talk to your mother like that. How could you not listen to your mother? That is so powerful, especially if it's, if you're not talking about a 17-year-old. So you begin by expecting the derech eretz for your wife. And then it'll come back to you. But that is so crucial. People ask, I'm talking about people who come on a Zoom from Germany, from New Guinea, from every African country, natives, not Israelis. And they want to know, what does it mean to treat somebody with respect, like a husband and wife? I said, for example, if you need to talk to your wife and you're in different rooms in the house, don't shout at each other. It's so disrespectful, so degrading. If you want to speak to your wife, go to where she is and talk in a normal tone of voice. And people get so excited. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be so different. Little things, but if it's emes.
Yeah, I think that's a way to begin that process is the mutual respect and how you speak to each other. So the questions are going in another direction, which is specifically the campus. They're on campus, the kids are exposed to all kinds of issues. I mean, I want to use the word gender issues and all kinds of aspects of the latest thought process that happens and influence in campus. How do you deal with kids that are listening to conversations of campus students in those issues? Any thoughts about that?
So it seems like there's really no aveda and no mishigas that is too much. Because the good is always more positive than the negative. So the first thing is, where is your sense of humor? When you see something really, really bad, don't get intimidated. It's not frightening, it's ridiculous. I got to tell you this incident. This guy from Williamsburg, very, very Chassidish, he says, what would you have done? I came into the house and I saw my 15-year-old on the computer watching pornography. How should I have handled it? I said, how did you handle it? He says, you don't want to know. How should I have handled it? And this is all in Yiddish, which is really weird. So I said, you should have walked up behind him, taken a look at the screen. And you should have said, what are you looking at? Was kickst du? Nackte Menschen unhäusen? And walk away. What are you looking at? People without their pants on? Walk away. And don't say anything for 2 days. On the third day, sit down and say, so what's with this people without their pants on? And besides, what kind of people take pictures of themselves without their... You shouldn't be watching them. They don't deserve your attention. So the first step is, don't scare your child by throwing the computer out the window, which is what he probably did, because then you just make him more curious and more intimidated by his own sinfulness, which, like he says in Tanya, almost guarantees that he's going to do it again. The first thing you have to do is make it ridiculous. Ridiculous. Kol litzinusa asura chutz v'litzinusa d'avodah zarah. If you can't laugh at the sin, then you're intimidated, and that's not good. We're not intimidated by an avera, but we are thrilled by a mitzvah. Thrilled by a mitzvah. So in all these questions, how do you talk to your kids about the facts of life? The first thing is, if you're afraid, if you're awkward, if you're nervous, then don't do it. Have somebody who is calm and confident. So we should be able to talk to our children just matter of fact. Not like in the non-Jewish world, you're going to sit down and have the talk. There's no the talk. If there's something in the parsha and it's about the subject, or somebody said something that wasn't tznius, and you say, tznius means this, tznius means like, it's Torah v'lumad ani tzarich. I think our grandparents, who were much more Chassidish than we were, had no problem talking about the facts of life. They were comfortable with it. I don't know, they were more earthy or something, I don't know. But this thing about not talking about intimate subjects as if that's some kind of a holy attitude, it's not. It's just timid. So how do you tell a child about the facts of life? As the occasion comes up, and it comes up all the time, you introduce the facts of life, not as a separate subject. So, again, it seems to come back to don't be intimidated. Don't lose your cool. Your child is looking at you to see how serious is my problem. And the way you react, that's going to be... many years ago, one of my children was having a serious birth problem. I called 770. Benjamin Klein answered. And I'm panicking because the doctors are, I said, Benjamin, can you take a note? If you write to the Rebbe, please ask her. He says, what? What? I said he's in the hospital and the lungs are. He says, yeah. What else? So at first I thought, you're not hearing what I'm saying? He kept that tone of voice. Yeah, no, so what else? That's it? Okay, bye. It was so good. It helped me so much. And he's heard it before. The Rebbe helped. What are you panicking? So your children need to hear that tone in you. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal, it's questions and answers, it's conversation.
It's really relaxed, it's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program, there's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us. Take a look, click the link below, and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.